We should have let it go. We shouldn't have checked.
Yeah, exactly. You should just went back and be like, okay, we have it in a room. We could isolate it. We could probably just disinject the lab if there was a way to, hopefully, and then that's it. That would have been it.
Yeah,
that would have been. But then you wouldn't have a film. But
now this little creature is
not so little.
Good. Well, he started off little and he grew real fast.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he. I mean, I understand he was very resilient, very able to get into little nooks and crannies, but terrifying because I would assume one of the most secure places in the universe would be a spaceship.
Yeah,
because you can't let anything get in or out, or else
like,
you've lost your compression.
Yeah, you can't let air out basically.
But this movie is telling me otherwise. It's saying, oh, there's always little places for things to go, and I loved seeing how this alien would run its little gelatinous
fast
limbs over the creases of everything.
Yeah, it's
looking for a way in.
Yeah, it's insane. It was traveling as fast as air, practically.
Oh yeah. But I'm talking even when he's like, when we see a show, the Japanese man inside of his little pod, when he locks himself in there, like his sleeping area, and you see that alien just like he's running his hands along all the creases, the hinges. Is there any give to this? Can I get in?
And he's trying to crush it.
Yeah, and he just crushes it and then leaves it. I just thought it was.
That reminded me of
creepy.
Jaws, like in a way, just like have this like this thing hovering at you, and just like it's really. That's what makes it a horror film, Matthew.
Yeah, it was very creepy. I felt like very unsettled by it, and so Ryan Reynolds, we know what happens to him. It's that first scene with the hand being crushed was key because from then on, every time it wraps around a leg, we know the damage it can do.
That's the testament of what it can do.
Is it going to do this to Ryan Reynolds' leg? It's a little bigger now. But no, it crawls into his mouth, goes down into his body.
Who knows what it did to his innards? But
there's no way out. He starts coughing up blood. His body's twitching, convulsing.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Yeah,
it's over. And then the alien comes out quite a bit bigger.
Oh yeah,
and darker.
So I guess it feasts on everybody's energy from what it seems. So I don't know what it needs exactly to feast on energy because it just crushed Hugh's hand, so it's fine. But then like I don't know what it needs to feed on for it to get bigger. So it's almost like it's vampirical in a certain way.
Yeah. Did you hear any of the rumors that this was a prequel to Venom, a new Venom film? there were rumors about it, and the film.
I didn't think of that. That's funny.
The film had to shut it down.
Yeah, because
being like, no, it's not a prequel to Venom.
Yeah, because the
studios different.
But the convenient is that like right after this film releases, Venom's going to be a sci-fi horror film. Yeah. And like, I can't believe they're still going with this. That's a whole different discussion. But
it's all kind of connected because the writers of this were, they wrote Deadpool,
right?
And they're working on the sequel to that one, or they worked on the sequel to that.
Right.
It's all in the same universe.
Yeah. Well, then Deadpool shouldn't have died. I don't think he's really dead. He's fine. He's coming back down. That's why.
That's true. Yeah, you can't do it if Ryan Reynolds is up in space and dies.
No, for sure.
The worlds cannot
collide.
That is the reason.
That is the reason.
Yeah.
But like, but imagine Jake Gyllenhaal playing as Eddie Brock. His name should have been Eddie Brock then. If you know your Spider-Man characters, it's Eddie Brock as Venom. So it's...
I guess so. Well, what are they going to do? Are they ever going to have Captain America meet Captain the Human Torch?
Yeah,
because that's
it would have to be Michael B. Jordan. Obviously, you have to go along with that universe instead of the
universe. They can't go with another.
Well, don't forget though that's a different company too. Like I think it was Sony that owns the Fantastic Four with Chris Evans in it, and then you have the other studios for Walt Disney Marvel Studios for the current Chris Evans as Captain America. Yeah. So the Michael B. Jordan is the Fox one, I believe, which failed horribly. So
it felt like, from what I heard, I didn't see it, but the movie apparently should have started where it ended.
Oh man, I went to go see that because I went to go see it in the VIP lounge. It was kind of funny just because I went to see how bad it was, and I started off pretty well. I'm like, I did. Remember, just like last time, or not last time, when I watched Bye Bye Man. When we were watching Bye Bye Man, we had this like impression that the beginning was so good in a way, with a couple of things that we didn't like, obviously with that train come flashing in, but like it had the great idea, the one shot, just people getting murdered, and that's the start of a horror film you want. And same thing with Fantastic Four here. Like, okay, it was getting kind of interesting. You had them getting, you had these two guys getting together. But when it got further in high school, you're just like, oh, this is all garbage. And that's what it is. So like, and it was just kind of entertaining to see that everything was just a huge lackluster. And I don't know why I don't know why it continued. I don't know why they continued with the production. They should have just canceled it. But I don't think that ever happens in a studio.
Imagine you're just like, you're 3/4 of the way into the movie and you're like, man, this is It's not worth it, guys.
Yeah, just wrap it up. Like call it a write off or something. I don't know what. Make it a short film or something. I don't know what. But it's ridiculous. Or
yeah, but,
we did.
But
imagine
getting into the weeds again, Dave.
I know, but one more thing I wanted to bring up though. But imagine Back to the Future. We had before Michael J. Fox. They had that other actor filmed almost half of it.
That's true.
And then okay, no, we need a recast. So I don't know, it's been done to a certain form. It has things that have been rewritten in a certain way, especially when you're deep into a project.
Pilot of Full House, they filmed the whole thing with a completely different actor, and then they're like, we don't like him. Test audiences don't like him. Get Bob Saget in here. He is a family favorite.
Before he was casted to home America's Funniest Videos.
So it was
back off the tangent though.
Yeah, where are we going? So
Venom's on so basically Calvin's on a symbiote to become a symbiote suit for Venom. That's for sure.
Definitely not. The alien escapes. Calvin escapes through one of the little vents. They couldn't override it fast enough, and because of all the fire, it.
Did you buy into the fact that it was able to knock off the communications? Is that just a cause of it being where it is, or just the communications failed altogether when they're trying to? That's what
there's a lot going wrong in that ship, though. I don't know if it did it intentionally, if it was just a side effect of something else that went wrong.
Yeah, that's the part I couldn't figure out. I'm like, oh, did it disable the communication somehow? Because at some point they did hear the distress calls, and that's what happens near the end, right?
Yeah, it seemed a little too smart for it to do right off the bat. It doesn't know the ship yet, so it doesn't really know how to do it, and it's supposed to.
Maybe where it was, it kind of blocked it. Maybe not because it intentionally wanted to, but it was just because it was stuck at a point in the ship where it needed to be, and conveniently it was cut the phone lines.
Yeah, because it was a smart creature, but
it wasn't a hacker.
No, it was a fairly you could fool it easily.
What was the antagonist in that last part of 2001: Space Odyssey? What was it known as? AI or?
No, I forget.
I forget too. It's just it kind of that would have been that's a quality that they've taken from that in a way. Yeah. But still, some of its attributes it's taking control of the ship, using the ship against them.
In a way, without really the same brain capacity.
No, for sure.
Control, but. It was able to be fooled. It was able to be fooled. It was it was desperate to live, and when you're that desperate to live, you will do things desperately, I guess.
Well,
we saw it. It's clinging to life. It's like if you're
it's trying to survive the whole time. That's what it's doing.
The best example I could give right now is I was at a cottage once, and
oh wow, not when you were in space.
Yeah, no. The water is kind of like space. You jump onto the dock in the middle of the lake, and tons of dock spiders.
What do they do? Do they hurt?
They hang. Oh, they're big old spiders. I don't care if they don't hurt, but they're terrifying.
Okay.
They jump up onto the dock because they were underneath the dock, and as soon as you get on, you push the weight down, water comes up, spiders like mad, freak out. I kick them off the dock. Now, I've lost track of most of these spiders, but I see one spider, and he's running on the water, hopping. Actually, no, running on the water back to the dock. I'm like, oh, this is like a nightmare. So, and I see some other people in the water, and their head pop up. This person's head pops up out of the water. The spider changes course because that head is a little closer. Starts running for that person on the water. And I have to call out, I was like, look out behind you. There's this. They turn around, they see it, duck under the water, come up somewhere else. When it comes up again, that spider sees it, runs over. And it's like, normally, that spider's not going to run for a human. It's desperate. It wants to live. It's going to run.
Wow.
And clasp onto your face because it doesn't want to drown. And that's kind of what we saw this alien do later when it clasps onto Ekaterina's character out in space.
Decaturn or Ekaterina?
Ekaterina?
Ekaterina.
The Russian.
Yeah. When she's outside, because they basically had to get the communication back, so she had to go adjust the satellite or something. Yeah. And then I don't even think did she even manage?
No, I don't think so. I don't think she got anywhere.
No, she didn't, because she noticed that it was out, and then Calvin ended up coming out, and then started chasing her a bit.
Yeah, and it's to me, this thing just reminded me of a spider that was desperate to live, and it was just scurrying about. And it was weird that it even wanted to leave the ship, but it left the ship, hung on to her for dear life,
right?
Crushed her fluid container,
which made her toxic. Which made her drowned.
I didn't buy when they said it knows exactly what it's doing.
No, me neither. I feel like it was incidental when it was trying to crush it.
Yeah.
Though it can detect where there is air, I would imagine. So if that's where it's getting the oxygen, I think that's what it was trying to do.
Yeah, it's definitely. And it so space should have killed it, but it was so resilient that it was able to survive long enough to get into one of the thrusters because they were running out of fuel. Eventually, they were. Yeah. They had a good idea. Every time the temperature changes in one of the thrusters, the turbines, blast it out of there. But they quickly ran out of fuel.
Yeah.
Weirdly quickly. It's like, I was a little unsure. Are they running out of fuel? Like they can't get back to Earth? Or they just, as far as thrusters go, they can't. As far as,
because apparently a show was saying it was getting critical for them, and they need that to get to avoid the atmosphere or to make sure they have enough to get through the atmosphere. I don't know what, depending on what the protocol was with Calvin.
Yeah.
The point is that they needed the fuel and they couldn't spend much more of it.
Yeah. So how long does this film take place in? A day? Like once Calvin escaping to
it's all one shitstorm and the 27th day
so fast, and I don't know how big it's going to grow.
You gave it life, so it's taking life, and so that's what feeds off of it. I guess that's what they want to show the escalation. It escalated super quickly.
Oh yeah. So now we got Ryan Reynolds down. Olga is dead.
Ekaterina.
Hugh is he's got a mangled hand, but
he's basically incapacitated.
Yeah, he's all right. Is he the next to go? Because at this point, they are trying to get off the ship. They are just kind of...
Yeah, he
really
is.
Know what the plan is. I know the plan is to get off the ship for sure.
This is what I found different. What they decide to do is basically have Calvin run out of oxygen. The focus on one room specifically for them to have oxygen. But somehow Calvin got through and managed to cling on to Hugh's leg. Since he's a paraplegic, he doesn't feel it.
Yeah, did you, in retrospect, I should have seen it coming because we see that scene where it runs by Hugh and Hugh looks at it and then it cuts somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is that was he assisting it? Would you almost argue to say that he really liked this thing so much that he assisted in a way?
I don't think so, but I also don't understand why he wouldn't tell them that it was wrapped around. Oh, because he's a paraplegic and he didn't feel it around.
Oh, you didn't get that? Yeah, that I got.
No, because I was thinking, he definitely knows it's there. Why doesn't he know? So.
He didn't feel it at all. He was defending it to say, it's just trying to survive or whatever. Man, that's what I hated. He was humanizing. That's why they brought it up. No matter what, they had to bring his scientific perspective.
Yeah, it's nice to talk it through because I was really trying to figure out why isn't he saying anything. I thought maybe he was altering his mind a bit, getting in there. But no, it's just he doesn't feel his legs to begin with.
No, he doesn't. Well,
that was a pretty horrifying thing, though. By the way, just to see his legs, so thin.
Oh yeah. I find it's it's not.
That was a real kind of horror. It's
not easy. It reminds you of it's true because obviously no nutrients go to your legs and you just it has that that skinny look.
You can't work them out. You can't do any of that. It's just it's.
Yeah, it's not easy to see. And that's the thing. He was making up all for it, just because he found that life force, and that's the tragedy for him is that he was a paraplegic. He's gone through adversity, got to where he had to go for space, and found life on Mars. And hopefully, on the long run, was if they could extract certain attributes from this life form, they could cure everything. Hopefully, that was the point. But that did not happen.
No, and he basically dies in this moment. They try to. This alien set a number on him, so he
wasn't it a cut that finally killed him, or what was it? Something cut him, wasn't
it? I don't know. They try to bring him back to life. The
defibrillator was there, right?
Yeah, they use a defibrillator on the alien at one point. He scampers off. Everyone kind of runs in their own direction.
But wait, did they use the defibrillator on him while the alien was on his leg? Shouldn't that have affected him?
No.
No, not him. The Calvin.
I don't think the current moves through your body.
Yeah, it does. That's why they go clear. That's why they say clear. When you have to be clear, it means you can't touch the body, so therefore the defibrillator does its work.
Right, but I don't think it's going to affect the alien.
Why not? It got defibrillated before.
Yeah.
I'm questioning just because you may not have the answer, but upon realization, do you think that wasn't it there when they realized that there was something wrong?
Well, I think it's definitely going to be stronger when you actually put those sensors on the alien. When you actually do it on the alien, it's going to...
Well, I don't think it gave it strength. It does what the...
didn't give it strength, but we saw that it clearly injured it more when it was put directly on the alien. Right. That's what freaked that alien out. I'm sure I don't know anything about defibrillators, but I know that the alien reacted to it unfavorably.
Right, definitely. Okay, and that's when they realized. I just wondering if why didn't did it not react? Because they defibrillated him a couple of times already. Yeah, and I was just like, oh, why didn't the thing react to it? Because it's supposed to be there. I'm like, I know there's
probably just not strong enough. Not strong enough of a shock to the system until it actually did it on him.
Oh, maybe. And then he's a paraplegic too. I don't know if that's a factor as well. If it doesn't carry a current, if it isn't, but I'm not sure. I'm not good with that stuff either.
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But everyone goes off on their own. This is